Oh, yes.
Councilmember Benedict,
I know they've been told.
Evan Siegel, Allen.
Who's told? Whatever. They've not.
Can we get our P&Z members to take their seats if they're in the room, please?
That worked out good.
Today is the Monday, February 2nd meeting of the Planning and Zoning Committee. I do detect a quorum to be present with council members Horton, Allen, Benedict, Cap, Cortez, Gamble, Rutherford, and Vo being present. I currently have each item on the consent agenda apart from items 59, 62, and 63. Before I proceed to read the captions, oh wait, we didn't have anybody sign up for public comment. Is there anyone in the gallery who wishes to speak? Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Every item is currently on consent apart from 59, 62, and 63. Before I read the captions, are there any additional items which need to be removed from the consent agenda? Nobody's raising their hand, so I'll proceed to read the captions on the consent agenda, and if there's any additional ones that need to come off, we can do this at the end. All right. This is a long one. Item 1, RS 2026-1776, sponsors Coopin, Horton, Evan Siegel, and Gadd, a resolution amending ordinance number BL 2021-874 to extend the construction commencement date for an easement agreement pertaining to a portion of Alley 371 in connection with the development project. Item 2, RS 2026-1777, sponsors Lee, Stiles, Toombs, Horton, and Evan Siegel, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by and through the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure for the repair of existing pavement failures and resurfacing of 3.64 miles of Cane Ridge Road. Item 3, RS 2026-1778, sponsors Coopin, Horton, and Evan Siegel, a resolution authorizing Tennessee Printers Hotel LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 315 to 323 Union Street. Item 4, RS 2026-1782, sponsors Parker, Horton, and Evan Siegel, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water main and to accept new public water main for property located at 910B North Hill Drive, also known as East Trinity Mixed Use. Item 5, BL 2025-1192, sponsors Eastlake, Evan Siegel, and Horton, an ordinance authorizing the renaming of Rohig Court to Magnolia Shores. Item 6, BL 2026-1196, sponsors Coopin, Toombs, Horton, and Evan Siegel, an ordinance approving an agreement between the Metropolitan Government and Piedmont Natural Gas, Inc. for the relocation of a natural gas pipeline on the existing Nissan Stadium campus. Item 7, BL 2026-1198, sponsors Toombs, Horton, Hill, Vo, Ewing, Hancock, Gadd, and Rutherford, an ordinance approving a revocable license agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Department of Human Resources and Operation Stand Down Tennessee for the use of office space. Item 6, BL 2026-1200, sponsors Coopin, Toombs, Horton, and Evan Siegel, an ordinance authorizing the granting of an overhead and underground easement to the Electric Power Board of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County on certain property owned by the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 9, BL 2026-1201, sponsors Cash, Toombs, Horton, and Vo, an ordinance approving a lease agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and Chiqui Cafe LLC for use of 357 feet of cafe space located at 3021 Leland Lane. Item 10, BL 2026-1202, sponsors Parker, Toombs, Horton, Evan Siegel, Vo, Welsh, Gadd, and Allen, an ordinance approving a greenway conservation easement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation and Main Street Land Trust for greenway improvements at 0 Brentwood Drive, 2539 Allenwood Drive, 2543 Allenwood Drive. Item 11, BL 2026-1203, sponsors Gamble, Toombs, Horton, Evan Siegel, Vo, Welsh, Gadd, and Allen, an ordinance approving a greenway conservation easement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation and Domain Timberlake Multi-State 2 LLC for greenway improvements at 1031 Bear Run, 409 Misty Creek Court, and 0 Nature Trail Way. Item 12, BL 2026-1206, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evan Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Fairpoint Planning LLC and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 13, BL 2026-1207, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evan Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Gresham Smith and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 14, BL 2026-1208, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between GRW Engineers, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 15, BL 2026-1209, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical engineering services between H.W. Lochner, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 16, BL 2026-1210, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical engineering services between HDR Engineering, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 17, BL 2026-1211, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Luz and Associates and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 18, BL 2026-1212, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Neil Schaefer, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 19, BL 2026-1213, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Nelson Nygaard Consulting Associates, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 20, BL 2026-1214, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Orchard Hills and McClement, Inc., DBA OHM Advisors, and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 21, BL 2026-1215, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical engineering services between Parsons Transportation Group, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 2022, BL 2026-1216, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Bora, Himakara, Gupta, doing business as Bora Consulting and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 2023, BL 2026-1217, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between CDM Smith, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 2024, BL 2026-1218, an ordinance, or sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Collier Engineering, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 25, BL 2026-1219, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Concert North America, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. BL 2026-1220, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 2027, BL 2026-1221, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between ACOM Technical Services, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 28, BL 2026-1222, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Alfred Benish and Company and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 29, BL 2026-1223, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical engineering services between Alta Planning and Design, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 30, BL 2026-1224, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Arcadis US, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 31, BL 2026-1225, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Barge Design Solutions, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 32, BL 2026-1226, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Jacobs Engineering Group and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 33, BL 2026-1227, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Johnson, Mermiam, and Thompson, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 34, BL 2026-1228, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between KCI Technologies, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 35, BL 2026-1229, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Kimley Horn Associates and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 36, BL 2026-1230, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Lamar Dunn and Associates, doing business as LDA Engineering and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 37, BL 2026-1231, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Raygun Smith Associates and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 38, BL 2026-1232, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Smith, Seckman, Reed, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 39, BL 2026-1233, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item 40, BL 2026-1234, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services between Volkert, Inc. and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Sponsors 41, BL 2026-1235, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance approving a contract for technical and engineering services for for between WSP USA Inc., the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. BL 42 sponsors Coupin, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance authorizing the renaming of alley number 569 to Clouder Alley and alley number 353 to Catamount Alley. Item 43, BL 2026-1237, sponsors Welsh, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance authorizing the abandonment of alley number 1907 right-of-way from Drake Avenue to alley number 1906. BL 2026, item number 44, BL 2026-1238, sponsors Cooper, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance authorizing 616 Ewing Partners to construct, install, and maintain underground, above-ground, and aerial encroachments at 616 Ewing Avenue. Item 45, BL 2026-1239, sponsors Ewing, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public utility and training easement rights for property located at 3801 Cleghorn Avenue. Item 46, BL 2026-1240, sponsors Bradford, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance also authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon an existing sanitary sewer manhole and to accept new public sanitary sewer main sanitary sewer manholes, wet well modifications and easements for 3 properties located at 1686 Reynolds Road unnumbered, and 600 Air Park Commerce Drive, also known as Reynolds Road, Industrial Development. Item 47, BL 2026-1241, sponsors Vo, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 6 properties located at Gray Street and Martin Street, also known as Martin and Gray Townhomes. Item 48, BL 2026-1242, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manhole, and associated easements for property located at 1212 Baptist World Center Drive. Item 49, BL 2026-1243, sponsors Cash, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water and sanitary sewer main and to accept new public water and sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manholes, the replacement of sanitary sewer manhole, the relocation of fire hydrant assemblies and easements for property located at 2415 Vanderbilt Place, also known as Vanderbilt University CUI Phase A and B. Item 50, BL 2026-1244, sponsors Harrell, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at 3124 Murfreesboro Pike and 1302 Hamilton Church Road, also known as Antioch 15, Phase 1. Item 51, BL 2026-1245, sponsors Ellis, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manhole, and easements for 2 properties located at 3620 and 3628 Anderson Road. Item 52, BL 2025-1087, sponsors Hancock, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, by changing from RS10 to RM9 NS zoning for property located at Old Hickory Boulevard, approximately 249 feet east of Ferris Avenue. Item 53, BL 2025-1100, sponsors Parker, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, by changing from RS5 to R6A zoning for property located at 1435 Meridian Street at the corner of Meridian Street and Gatewood Avenue and located within a detached accessory dwelling unit overlay district. Item 54, BL 2025-1116, sponsors Allen and Hancock, an ordinance amending Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to add a new electric vehicle charging station use and related definitions and conditions to the zoning code. Item 55, BL 2025-1132, sponsors Hancock and Webb, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, by changing from RS5 to SP zoning for properties located at 400 and 408 Maple Street at the southeast corner of Maple Street and 4th Avenue to permit 3 residential units. Item 56, BL 2025-1133, sponsors Hancock and Webb, an ordinance to authorize building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-1132. Item 57, BL 2025-1143, sponsors Coupin, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by amending the River North Urban Design Overlay District for various properties located on Cohen Street, Waterside Drive, Oldham Street, North First Street, River North Boulevard, Spring Street, and Cowan Court to update the regulating plan and corresponding sub-district designations. Item 58, BL 2025-1144, sponsors Coupin, an ordinance to authorize building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-1143. BL 2025-1161, sponsors Welsh, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from RS 7.5 to SP zoning for properties located at 3208, 3210, 3212, and 3218 Glencliff Road at the northeast corner of Glencliff Road and Antioch Pike to permit 80 multifamily residential units. Item 61, BL 2025-1162, sponsors Welsh, an ordinance authorizing building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-1161. Item 64, BL 2025-1165, sponsors Taylor and Toombs, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from RS5 to R6A zoning for properties located at 708 26th Avenue North, approximately 205 feet north of Clifton Avenue, and located within the detached accessory dwelling unit overlay district. Item 65, BL 2025-1166, sponsors Welsh, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from RS5 to R6A zoning for property located at 1114 Rose Street, approximately 160 feet east of Foster Avenue. Item 66, BL 2025-1167, sponsor Toombs, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from IWD to MUGNS zoning for properties located at 220, 230, and 240 Great Circle Road, approximately 428 feet north of Vantage Way. Item 67, BL 2025-1170, sponsors Welsh, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from CS to R6A zoning for property located at 322 Ludi Street, approximately 235 feet east of Nolensville Pike. Item 68, BL 2025-1171, sponsor Toombs, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from R8 to IWD zoning for property located at Haney Avenue, approximately 369 feet west of Brick Church Pike. Item 69, BL 2025-1172, sponsors Reptite, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from RS10 to R10 zoning for property located at 3417 Springbrook Drive, approximately 392 feet north of Woodmont Boulevard. Item 70, BL 2025-1173, sponsors Welsh, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from RS5 to R6A zoning for property located at 308 Peachtree Street, located approximately 212 feet west of Burbank Avenue. Item 71, BL 2025-1174, sponsor Toombs, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from R8 to RS10 zoning for various properties located along Lathan Court, located south of Young Lane and north of the Cumberland River, and within the Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District. Item 72, BL 2025-1177, sponsors Welsh, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from R6 to RM9A and S zoning for property located at 308 Polk Avenue and located on the corner of Polk Avenue and Whitney Avenue. Item 73, BL 2025-1178, sponsors Gamble, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by amending an SP and changing from AR2A to SP zoning for property located at 7435 Old Hickory Boulevard, located approximately 362 feet west of Belvins Road to permit a mixed-use development with 208,000 square feet of non-residential use. Item 74, BL 2025-1179, sponsors Gamble, an ordinance authorizing building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-1178. Item 75, BL 2025-1180, sponsors Rutherford, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from AR2A to SP zoning for property located at 14768 Old Hickory Boulevard, approximately 3,275 feet south of Bell Road, to permit 135 multifamily residential units. Item 76, BL 2025-1181, sponsors Rutherford, an ordinance authorizing building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-1180. Item 77, BL 2025-1182, sponsors Spain, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from CN, MUL, and AR2A to SP zoning for properties located at 9320, 9323, 9315, Highway 100 unnumbered in a portion of 8540 Old Harding Pike, located at the northwest and southwest intersection of Old Harding Pike and Highway 100 to permit a mixed-use development. Item 78, BL 2025-1183, sponsor Spain, an ordinance to authorize building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-1182. Item 79, BL 2025-1184, sponsors Huffman, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from OR 20 to MUL and MUL to SP zoning for properties located at 3055 Lebanon Pike and Lebanon Pike unnumbered, approximately 305 feet west of Jackson Downs Boulevard to permit a mixed-use development. Item 80, BL 2025-1185, sponsors Huffman, an ordinance to authorizing building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-1184. Item 81, BL 2025-1186, sponsors CAP, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from OR 20 to SP zoning for property located at 919C Gallatin Avenue, approximately 160 feet north of Petaway Avenue to permit a mixed-use development. And finally, BL 2025-1187, sponsors Ewing, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from OR 20 to MULA-NS zoning for property located at 3827 Cleghorn Avenue, approximately 490 feet north of Abbott Martin Road. That concludes the consent agenda, which includes every item apart from items 59, 62, and 63. Are there moved? And do we have a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Any not voting? Consent agenda is approved. 9 in favor, 0 opposed, and 0 not voting. Go to the items not on consent, first of which is item 59, BL 2025-1147, sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evans Siegel, an ordinance by amending certain access management sections of chapters 1312 and 1720 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to implement the Access Management Manual, which compiles regulations and guidelines for access from private property to public right-of-ways, to modernize the development review process, and to make streets safer for all modes of transportation. Do we have a motion by a committee member? Moved, seconded? Moved and seconded. On to discussion. We have a substitute on the bill. I'll go first to the substitute's sponsor. If you wish to be recognized. Nope. Substitutes moved and seconded. I had some questions on the substitute. I guess I'll go to NDOT. We'll go to, do we have a representative from NDOT that might be able to speak on this? Public table. Please introduce yourself, please.
Hello, I'm Melissa Hayes. I'm a traffic engineer at NDOT, and I project manage this access management manual.
Thank you for being here. I'll go first. I had to see if, and afterwards see if any committee members have any questions. I had a question regarding an aspect of the substitute which limits trees within a certain distance of intersections. The idea being to improve visibility and thereby improve safety. Have some concerns about this one. I think I've read a number of jurisdictions far from prohibiting or limiting trees at intersections often encourage them as a way to psychologically narrow the street, try to slow drivers down and make them drive more cautiously. The effect being to reduce the frequency and severity of crashes and improve pedestrian safety. I've seen it in a number of cities in the U.S. and overseas as a component of Vision Zero. I was wondering if you could walk us through exactly what this aspect of the substitute does and the rationale behind it, please.
Sure. Thank you for your question. Happy to explain. So in the Metro Code as it exists today, this specific sight distance with the trees or bushes or other items placed within the right-of-way is listed 3 times, twice in Chapter 13, in 2 different locations of 13, and then once in Chapter 17. So with the Access Management Manual, when we were developing the manual itself, we decided, Chapter 13, the 2 times that's listed in there, we didn't initially catch that it was in there twice. So that's why we did a substitute, because of that, for one reason. For 2, part of this project, we wanted to consolidate everything that is repetitive and inconsistent with one another in the code. And so since this was listed as we originally had thought, twice in the code, but it actually was 3 times. There, in Chapter 17, Chapter 13, it's listed in 13 as 25 feet from the intersection, and in 17, it's listed as 35 feet. So our team had discussed with different people in DOT and other groups that we were working with, some people from planning department and others, and we had come to the conclusion that it made more sense to go with the more conservative value, 35 feet, to be more safe. The more visibility at an intersection, the more people can see, lighting can be blocked. This is specifically for within the public right-of-ways, so not, again, in the private property.
I thought it said private property on the substitute. Is that not correct?
It might be. It's been a while since I've looked at it. So whatever it is, it's 35 feet from the intersection. I don't have it in front of me right now. Okay. But, so yeah, we have proposed this substitute because we initially had missed that other part in Chapter 13 that listed this same exact code.
Got it. Thank you for that explanation. So I understand this provision, the substitute, is remove duplications currently in the code as well as comply a consistent standard, which is otherwise inconsistent currently.
Yes.
I think it raises questions. I'd be interested to know this committee's opinion, whether that's a provision we want to maintain as is or modify. So Councilmember Cap had his hand up first. I'll go first to you.
Thank you, Chair. I certainly appreciate the need for consistency. I think what I would suggest under these circumstances is I think I might move a deferral on this. I think there seem to be several different pieces of the code that it looks like we're touching, and I think we probably all need time to look at those and reconcile them. I'd also be interested in exploring a change to the substitute to maybe not require it, but maybe to phrase it something like, subject to a site analysis or some undue blockage of sight lines or something like that, because the way it's written now seems a little bit broad. So with that, I move a 1 meeting deferral.
I have a movement and a second for a 1 meeting deferral. Do we have any discussion on the 1 meeting deferral? Councilmember Allen, you are recognized.
I think I can make this on the deferral. So while we're looking at the possible other language to add, this specifically says on private, no person shall place or cause to be placed or maintained temporarily, permanently any sign, poster, pennant, banner, bush, tree, or other obstruction, on private property within 35 feet of any street intersection, so as to interfere with traffic visibility at the intersection. And I guess my question is, who would be determining whether it interferes with traffic visibility? And perhaps that's language we can look at to specifically say, subject to a review to determine if it interferes with traffic visibility. So I think that there's good cause to ask for deferral, and I would support that.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any further discussion on the, was it a 1 meeting deferral, Councilmember Cap? Any further discussion on the deferral? Seeing none, all in favor of a 1 meeting deferral, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? Recommend a 1 meeting deferral. 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Next on the agenda, non-consent agenda, is item 62, BL 2025-1163, sponsors Toombs. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, by changing from R8 to SP zoning for properties located at 2130 and 2132A, 2138A, 2138B, 2138C, and 2140 and 2142, Buena Vista Pike, and 3005, 3005B, 3007 and 3009 Cliff Drive at the southwest corner of Buena Vista Pike and Cliff Drive to permit a mixed-use development. We're joined here by the primary sponsor, Councilmember, well, I guess first, do we have a motion to approve by committee member? Moved and seconded. Councilmember Toombs, you wish to be recognized.
Thank you, Chair. If someone from the committee could move to defer to the first meeting in March, I need to have a follow-up community meeting on the project.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the deferral? Seeing none, all in favor of a 2 meeting deferral? Any opposed? Any not voting? Recommend a 2 meeting deferral. 9 in favor, 0 against, Still at 9? 0 not voting. Next, I guess we could have taken this together, is item 63, BL 2025-1164. This is an ordinance authorizing building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-1163, which we just recommended a deferral on. Assume, Councilmember Toombs, you wish the companion bill to also be deferred? Yes. Do we have a motion for a 2-meeting deferral? Moved and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Any not voting? Recommended 2-meeting deferral, 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Next, we have the capital improvement budget prioritization presentation by our lovely planning department. I will go to the planning table now. Planning, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. Good afternoon, Councilmembers. Greg Claxton with the Planning Department. This is a very short presentation wrapping up the council request process that began back in October. As a reminder, Councilmembers submit council requests, either new requests for the CIB or projects to remain in the CIB back in October. We put together a report based on department review of those projects, their assessment, as well as their cost estimates. The report itself will be published on our website tomorrow at the nashville.gov/department/planning, long-range planning, capital improvements. That will cover kind of the title of the project, an ID when it was first added to the CIB, a description, and then any planning comment or department comment along with the project request. In some cases, the scope of a request isn't clear. Or in some cases, there is a comment from the planning department to recommend removal. In the item on screen, you'll see that the Parks Department noted that this project was completed. In some cases, the scope of a request isn't clear or even who would carry it out. We typically recommend not including those in the CIB until further discussions with departments have clarified what the appropriate scope is. Again, our goal is to sort of provide a conduit between council members and departments around the requests that were submitted in October. Council staff distributed a priority worksheet with all of the requests organized by council district. This is an example of what that worksheet looks like. Y'all will remember the process for prioritizing the 100 points. The same as the last couple of years. All of the projects are in here. If you scroll over to the right, you'll see a list of all of the council districts in their own column. You can use that. There's a little arrow you can drop down and then turn off blanks, and that will filter down to just the projects in that district. So if you just want to see projects in your district, you can take a look at that. If you want to see everything, you're able to take a look at that as well. Council staff will talk through the prioritization process.
Hi, I'm Matt Wilkins, Metro Council Office. So you should have received a letter on Friday and then an email today with the actual spreadsheet. And in the letter and then in the email, we go over the process, which is the same for the last 2 or 3 years at this point. So all council members will have 100 points to which to prioritize projects. No more than 50 points may be given to any one project by a single council member. District council members should prioritize projects that benefit your district. However, you are not restricted to only prioritizing district projects. And at-large council members should prioritize regional and county-wide projects rather than district-specific projects. So think about like a sidewalk project that might cross into multiple districts or like a library that serves a region. So you have the worksheet. You can work on that worksheet. We just need the worksheet back by the end of business on February 11th, which I believe is next Wednesday. And that will give Greg and his team time to process all of that. And then we will come together in a joint meeting the day after President's Day on the 17th. I believe that is the right date. Let me double check. Sorry. Yeah, on the 17th, there will be a joint meeting between the Budget and Finance Committee and Planning and Zoning Committee to formally approve the prioritization and in accordance with the rules for the council. And so with that, I think we have like time for a couple of questions on that, or you can feel free to email me or Greg about how to use the spreadsheet, or if you have a question about the prioritization process itself.
Thank you. Any questions from committee members or anybody else in the room today? Seeing none, that was our last item for consideration. We're adjourned. That was the longest one I've had to read. Everything except the other three, do I have to write it individually?